everyone, welcome back to my channel. For today's video, we're going to be doing a watch me work video on my lovely hairstylist. We're going to be doing a backfill. For those of you that are not familiar with a backfill, it is the process in which you file down the existing acrylic nail design into a very thin layer and then you go over with a new color or a new acrylic design. Throughout the video, I'm going to try to answer as many questions as I can on the past videos that I've done on this topic. So I hope you guys enjoy the video. I hope you guys learn a ton. Now let's get right into it. Getting right into today's video, I am starting off by removing her current design. For this process, I am using the Kiara Sky Rechargeable E-File. Along with that, I'm using their 5-in-1 bit in the color silver in the medium grit. I do have my E-File at a speed of about 10 to 11,000 RPMs. That's my comfortable speed. You can absolutely go higher or slower, just depending on your liking. But before we get started in the whole process, I did want to go ahead and mention that I unfortunately was sick for her last appointment, so I had to reschedule, and she came back with these nails. So I did not do the current set that she has on. The underneath acrylic that you're seeing come through underneath the black, I did do that, but she did go to a different salon to get a backfill, and I believe they did dip powder for the black glitter. For this process, we are going ahead and taking our E-File, again, like I said, at a speed of about 10 to 11,000 RPMs, and I'm basically just filing. And the most important part of the filing process is that you continue to move across the nail. Go from the top to the bottom, from the bottom to the top, from the left to the right, from the right to the left, from the center to the top, from the center to the bottom. You just want to move across the nail continuously. It is very, very important. This is going to help prevent heat spikes. If you have ever gotten a heat spike due to the E-File, trust me, you do not want to cause that on a client. It hurts a lot. I've done it on myself, and it is not a good feeling. So you want to make sure you continue to move across the nail. Another thing is the amount of pressure that you are applying on the nail while doing this process is also going to make a huge difference. So I like to use about a medium amount of pressure, and for me that works. Especially with preventing heat spikes, and it does get the process done a lot quicker with a little bit more pressure. As you can tell, I am really moving across that nail as much as I can without staying in one spot for too long. I feel like that was one of the things that I tried to get used to the most when I first started doing nails, and it has helped a lot. I don't have any complaints from my clients, so always make sure you are paying attention. I always try to ask my clients throughout the process if they are okay, if everything is fine. I feel like that's kind of crucial as well. You want to make sure that they are completely comfortable. So my clients know that if something is wrong, they should tell me, and they need to tell me. A lot of the time, clients are extremely shy and they just will take it. So make sure you make them comfortable and let them know, let it be known that it is okay to complain and to tell you if something is wrong or doesn't feel right. So one of the most common questions that I've gotten on these type of videos is, why do I not remove the entire acrylic? So the reason behind that basically is to prevent overfiling on the natural nail. I can absolutely take every bit of that acrylic off, but I know that there will be a chance that I damage their natural nail. And if I don't trust myself to do that process fully, I'm not gonna do it. So it's basically just me being cautious and protecting my client's nail health that I do not remove the entire acrylic. Now I'm taking my E-File and my speed is at 4,000 RPMs. Along with that, I'm using the Profiles Backstage Mandrel bit and sanding band in medium gray. I'm just going to quickly go around that cuticle area and buff off the shine to the natural nail, while also pushing back the cuticle and trying to remove a little bit more of that existing acrylic. Now back to the topic of why I do not remove the entire acrylic. A lot of you guys are probably thinking, why don't I just soak off the rest of the acrylic? Now, soaking off acrylic is not necessary unless your client requests it or you think it's absolutely necessary to achieve a certain nail design. Throughout the years of me doing acrylic, I have figured out that I have enough options of powders and acrylics and different brands that I will be able to cover the existing acrylic. For example, for today's video, we have a little bit of black that is left on the nail, and I'm gonna be able to fully cover that because I know that I have the products to do so.
All I see is blessings, got no time for stressing. Don't believe in failures in my life, it's only lessons. They just making room for what I'm on.
Now I'm just very quickly taking a lint free wipe from Kiara Sky with a little bit of acetone and removing that polish she had put on her pointer finger. She did say that her nail came off completely from whatever salon she went to. So she just went ahead and removed it and put a little bit of nail polish on it so she could kind of conceal the lack of nail. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish prepping these nails. Now I'm going in with my needle bit from Profiles Backstage very quickly around that cuticle area. This is basically gonna remove that excess dead skin that you may have missed with your mandrel bit. Honestly speaking, this has been a game changer with my lifting issues, so I definitely recommend you guys try implementing this if you guys do have issues with lifting.
I can't say that life's been perfect or complain, cause life's been worth it. And all because of who he is working. Only working out for my God. And no more living in that fear, no more.
Lastly, we're going to be taking my cuticle ball bit and we're going to be filing that cuticle off just to remove any excess dead skin from that area. Now, another common question that I have gotten throughout my videos is, how can you absolutely cover every inch of acrylic that they have on the natural nail? So my trick of doing this is, as you can see, I still leave a little bit, basically a good amount of acrylic on that natural nail, but to prevent from it showing through is this process here. I'm taking my hand file, I'm shaping them so that I have a good base shape. And then we're gonna go quickly over the surface and file it just a little bit more, specifically on those sides and that tip. What this is gonna do is make it super thin. You're not gonna hurt the client at all, but you're gonna make it extremely thin to when you layer on the new powder, new design, it's not gonna show through. And the point of it is, once I go in and finish file at the end, sometimes you will be able to see acrylic come through. That is gonna prevent that. So if you implement this and make it to where your shape is basically perfect, it is nice and thin, you go in with your new acrylic and then you shape it again at the end, you should need very little to no shaping at the end. And then that way you don't have to worry about any existing acrylic showing through the new acrylic. So I'm just gonna go ahead and repeat that process on the rest of the nails. Again, trying to get it as thin as possible, specifically on those sides and that tip.
I can see the blessings coming our way, yeah. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I can see the blessings coming our way, our way, our way. Blessings on blessings, yeah. I can see the blessings coming our way, yeah.
It's too late now to turn around and back again. I made my bed and now I lay my head in it. And I'm sorry I'm not perfect, but I knew that I wouldn't be. I guess it's for the best, you know the worst in me. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down. I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. You call my bluff, I won't pick up.
Now we're going to be going ahead and adding a tip to that nail that didn't have a nail. And I'm using the universal tips from Not Polish. And I'm just going ahead and taking my nail tip cutters, trimming them. And I do like to cut them a little bit longer, just so I have enough wiggle room to make mistakes. So if I make it longer, I can shorten it to the length that she needs. But if I make it shorter, then there's no fixing and it takes a whole long process to redo the tip. So make sure you guys always are on the safe side. So I'm just kind of comparing the shape and the length so I can go off of that and recreate that with the tip. I'm taking my Tammy Taylor peel and stick file and just going in and filing it until I am content. Now I'm taking the Kiara Sky Lint Free Wipes and a little bit of Young Nail Swipe, and we're going to be cleaning the surface of the nail, and this is going to work as a dehydrator as well. And then we're taking the XXX Bond from Not Polish as our primer and really scrubbing that in, especially on the natural nail portions that are showing through.
Down a second chance. I'm too selfish for that. I let you fall again. Now that you know that I'm no good at being good, but I never said I was. And I feel misunderstood, 'cause I'm trying hard to love. I'm sorry, my actions, they haunt me, and I'll never live it down.
Now for our acrylic application process for today's video, I am using the Kiara Sky acrylic brush in a size 14. It is absolutely stunning. I love this brush. So I made sure I went ahead and used it for today's video. Along with that, I'm using their monomer, and I am using the acrylic powder from their sister nail company, Glam and Glitz. It is one of my favorite go-to colors when it comes to nude acrylics from that brand. I absolutely love it. Now, if you guys are an OG on my channel, you guys probably already know that I have used, since the beginning of my nail career, the Glam and Glitz powders. It is not a very loved company or brand in the nail industry, but for me, honestly, it has been a lifesaver when it comes to backfills. I know the consistency of it is not the greatest. It is definitely a lot more on the chalky side. However, I can work with it. I started using these powders when I started doing nails, so I am comfortable using the product. It's just a matter of getting used to it. Not only that, but it is very affordable in comparison to a lot of the brands that you see out there. And honestly, the product is a really good product in my opinion. So I figured I would share with you guys my secret to backfills. I know I've talked about it before on my channel, but this is honestly the product that will cover any product that you have on the nail. As you can see, I'm using a nude color, and typically you can't go over black using a nude color because they are extremely see-through. However, these come through whenever I do need to cover a dark color. So I'm basically taking a medium-sized bead of acrylic, and I'm going to be applying that and then going in with a small bead to fill in the cuticle area and really blend out the rest of the product. So a medium bead right in the middle section, quickly blend it down, and as you can see, it's not a lot of product. It is very thin. I like to do her nails on the thinner side because this is an acrylic overlay on her natural nail. It thoroughly covers any color that you have on that nail. So to answer those of you that have asked on how to fully cover dark acrylic, this is the way to go, and Glam and Glitz is going to be your best choice of powders. Again, it's very affordable, and I honestly really like the products. I am gonna go ahead and encapsulate these nails using clear acrylic from Kiara Sky, not only because I added a thin layer of the colored acrylic, but because when you're working with very pigmented colors such as Glam and Glitz ones, chances are that because there's so much pigment in it, the acrylic isn't going to be as strong as other acrylics are. So in order to ensure and guarantee your work, make sure you are encapsulating these type of acrylics so that there is enough acrylic on there to withstand any type of hit to the nail, and so they last basically the longest amount of time that they can last. So I'm going to go ahead and finish encapsulating these nails, adding a thin layer of that clear acrylic. And once everything is nice and dry, we're gonna go in with our e-file. I have her at a speed of about 10 to 11,000 RPMs. Along with that, I'm using my rose gold medium grit 5-in-1 bit. This one is extremely old, so it's probably fine grit at this point. But I'm just going around that cuticle area and then very quickly horizontally side to side going across that nail. Whenever I'm working with very short nails, I just go ahead and go side to side because I am able to control my e-file because the nail is so small. When working with very long nails, I like to go vertically up and down. So I'm just gonna go ahead and finish filing the nails. Once I'm done using my e-file, I'm going to go ahead and reshape these nails. Again, I'm not doing too much filing because I want to make sure that none of that existing acrylic shows through. Not only that, but I had already shaped the nails and I tried to lay my acrylic as neat as possible. So this filing should be very minimal. Going on the sides, and then we're going to be flipping the hand around to look at the nails from the client's perspective. Unfortunately, I cannot show that process because the hand comes at a complete frame from the camera. So I do apologize for that, but you can absolutely see that process on all my other videos where I use my practice hand for this process. Now I'm very quickly taking the Kiara Sky buffer and buffing the nails. This is going to help prepare the nail for the nail art application. And I'm just going to go ahead and repeat that on the rest of the nails, ensuring that that canvas is nice and smooth. Now she typically wants me to file underneath the nail so that they're not super sharp, and to do so I'm just taking my buffer and very lightly with zero effort just buffing underneath, and that's going to help keep the shape nice and intact, but it's going to kind of smooth out those sharp edges. I'm taking again a lint free wipe and some young nail swipe, cleaning the surface in prep for our nail art. Now she did request a very simple design for today's video, so we're going to be doing a pink outline on the tips of her nails, which I love this type of look, and I think pink is perfect for this time of year. So I'm taking the Makartt nail art brush from my Amazon storefront. These are my go-to favorites. And for the beautiful pink color that we're using, this is the frosting gel paint in the color pink from Profiles Backstage. You guys know they are my absolute favorite. So I'm just taking a little bit of that on my brush and just very carefully outlining that tip of the nail. And then of course I'm getting some on the very tip so that you can't see the acrylic at all.
This is for my day ones. Don't forget the ones I made ya. Deep side sweating out flavor. This is for my day ones. Day one. Showed up. Day one before the glow up. Don't need ask for them show love. Don't need ask for them show love.
And like always, don't forget to cure this before you go in with your top coat. I go ahead and put it in the UV LED light for a full minute to make sure that everything is fully cured. Once we're out of the light, I'm going in with my top coat. This is the Young Nails stain resistant top coat. It is my favorite to use on hairstylists or any clients that have really light nails that are prone to get stains on them. Highly recommend this. This is a lifesaver. Now I'm going in and just top coating that surface, making sure that I'm getting everything nice and top coated. And we're going to be placing that in the light for a full minute. I like to do 2 minutes just to be safe. And a quick little tip, if you guys like your white toenails, pop this on there and they're not going to be stained at all whatsoever. So that's what I use on my toes, because when I wash my hair, the color comes off and it stains my toes. And with this top coat, it definitely prevents them from being any other color than white. So I did want to go ahead and quickly ask you guys if you guys have done a backfill before. If you have, let me know what you guys thought about the process. If you haven't, let me know below if you are going to try it now that you guys have watched a video on how to do the process.
This is for my day ones. Don't forget the ones I made ya. Deep side sweating out flavor.
Once we're out of the light, I'm going to go ahead and remove that tacky layer. To do so, I'm using a lint-free wipe from Sky and some Young Nail Swipe. You can also use a little bit of alcohol. That basically concludes today's video. Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you guys next time.